Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we're on day 4 Doom Tower. Let's do it. We are going to be fighting Sorath the Frozen Spider Queen Lady Girl. And first we need to smash our way through some waves. So it feels like the waves are kind of starting to strengthen up now. Level 250s, but I think I've still got enough in my team to just kind of smash our way through this stuff. I'm going to start throwing in, though, my Gergo just to kind of freeze everyone up and give us more time to get our job done. So I'm thinking something like Gergo. What are we up against? Mainly affinity. Maybe I like this more. I think something like this. So we're going to smash our way through some waves. Again, just bringing in Gergo here means that these guys don't get a turn, or they shouldn't get a turn. And it should mean that we just kind of get through pretty comfortably on all of these early waves, you know, without any sort of trouble. So decreased defense and weaken goes out. We get the big slam in. He gets a revive. I could have done with him saving that freeze really for the next wave. That would have been ideal. Because now we don't have a freeze for the final wave. But, I mean, these guys are not causing us any problems at all yet. In fact, we're slamming them down pretty hard. So, I'm going to get us through to the boss. And let's see what this boss is all about. I've been hearing some weird murmurs out there that this boss is weak. Like the easiest boss we've seen by a mile. And on paper, the boss is kind of... It doesn't look like it should be that easy. So, we're going to try it out. And I'll show you like my main team. And then I'm going to show you what you can do as a kind of lower spend or lower value players. Actually, we're taking some damage from these dwarves. Fair enough. Dwarves are out in force. Maybe we need to look at some of these dwarves for our team because mainly dwarves are rubbish. So what's going on with these fellas? Anyway, I'll get us onto the boss and then we can see what this Frost Spider is all about. So, coming on to the boss then. I think my MVP is going to be Mashold. Mashold has got an AoE, True Fear, and Leech ability. So any crowd control on the Spiderlings makes them not do their main abilities. They don't actually attack. They just sit there and do like passive, or not even passive abilities. They're active abilities, but not attacks. It's very weird. And Leech kind of blocks out those abilities. So AoE Leech basically makes them rubbish. Useless to face you. And then everything else that Mashold does is just damage. So he's going to be doing AoE damage to the Spiderlings. Once you've killed them, they're out of the game anyway. And he's going to be doing big time damage to the main boss. So the reason why I think he's going to be so good is just because I throw him in a Relentless Gear. He can do a ton of damage anyway. And he kind of locks out the Spiderlings. Venus for me is going to be MVP as well because of HP burn. So HP burn means that Sorath cannot revive. And it just makes it much faster to do the run. But you can also use block revive champions. So someone like a Rotus can work, Foley can work. Anyone who's got that block revive can just kind of clean her out without the revive coming through if you don't have the HP burn. Any other champion with AoE HP burn is going to be brilliant for this as well. So Ignatius, Ultimate Gaelic, all of the regular crew that we would use for Spider 20, Cupidus even, can be good here. So let me just have a proper run through what she does if she was working at like full capacity. I think she's kind of broken rubbish right now. But I think if they tweak her, then she might be more difficult to beat. So again, I can just kind of take you through to this page on the website, Doom Tower, go into bosses and mechanics. And every time we kind of hear about more strategies that are coming through from the community, we're updating this. So it's not just kind of like I'll throw it up there once and it's done. The more we know, the more we update. So Sorath the Frost Spider, Void Affinity, always Void Affinity for the month. What does that mean? You can play anyone against her. So firstly, it makes her the easiest boss in terms of affinity. So what we got here, Whiteout, attacks all enemies based on attack. All of her stuff's based on attack. So decrease attack will reduce her damage. Places a 50% decrease accuracy debuff on you for 2 turns. Katabatic Winds attacks all enemies again, so both AoEs. Places block, buffs, debuff on you, and heal reduction on you. For 2 turns on enemies under a freeze debuff. Places 30% decreased speed and decreased attack on enemies that don't have freeze. So no matter what, you're getting a couple of debuffs. You can out-resist all of these. You can block debuffs, all of these things. There's nothing here which resistance won't fix, and there's nothing here which block debuffs won't prevent. Also, from what I'm hearing, the spider, the bosses at the moment are not tuned properly in terms of their accuracy and their resistance. So a fairly minimal amount of resistance, like literally just a great haul worth, can resist a bunch of what they're doing at this sort of stage so far. Whether they fix that or not, who knows? But right now, that's the way it's going down. Absolute Zero removes all buffs from enemies. So he clears your buffs off, then attacks. Again, resistance will outdo this if you've got enough. Has a 100% chance of placing a freeze for 1 turn. You can out-resist it. The chance decreases to 50% if Sorath's under an HP burn. So HP burn becomes a really valuable debuff to have if she was working effectively. Fills her turn meter by 20% for each freeze she places. So possibly she could freeze your whole team and get another turn straight out if that was working right. She's got a passive here. When attacked, 20% chance of placing a freeze on the attacker. Increases her defense and resistance if she's not under HP burn. So pretty valuable things here are HP burn, block debuffs, high resistance. She's then got another passive, revives with 50% HP and a full turn meter, and all skill cooldowns reset if she's killed not under HP burn. But that is on a really, it doesn't tell you here, but it's on a really long cooldown. So you can kill her once and then kill her again before this comes back pretty comfortably. If you don't have the HP burn in play. Sorath Spiderlings then. So they've got 2 minions. They remove all debuffs from Sorath, instantly transfer decreased defense and weaken to themselves if they're not under a leech. Will convert debuffs to weaker versions on transfer. The Spiderlings don't attack. They don't move. They don't do a lot. I guess when you get higher up, when all of the debuffs and that are actively working, you might decide to kill the Spiderlings first and then take on the boss. But quite frankly, if you stun the Spiderlings, freeze them, true fear them, daze them, whatever, they don't do anything. It's a really weak fight, to be honest. It's probably the worst of the Doom Tower fights, I think. So we said here, recommended strategies to kill the 2 Spiderlings, probably when you get further up. Right now, I think it's just full-on nuke mode. It's also possible to go high resistance and ignore the main nature of the fight, which I think is probably going to be the end game strat. She's not immune to turn meter control, so people like Armaga, Allure, Sylar are all going to do the same jobs they do on normal Spider, keep that turn meter down. And then you want things like HP burn through your normal crew. You can even use single target HP burn champions here, like Jotun, Kalia, Coffin Smasher, and a bunch of others, if you just want to keep it on Sorath. As long as Sorath's got it on, everything else is kind of easier to deal with. I mean, if you bring in someone like Septimus, he can just absolutely smash his way through this fight as well. To deal with the Spiderlings, you need to nuke them early or put leech on them to stop their abilities. Temptress is like the only rare that really does this effectively, but you've got Tila, who's the Vault legendary, can come out and do some work here. AoE leech and HP burn. Michaud is also really cool, as I said in my video already. So let's get in, let's try her out and see what we can do. Just one thing to call out before I go into the fight, actually. This room was different to what I originally was kind of informed about. The Secret Room 4 is just Epic Lizardmen. Ouch. Epic Lizardmen suck. They literally suck the worst. So this Secret Room 4 is going to be hard. I will probably do a video specifically on this Secret Room over the next couple of days. I don't need to do it today. You can do the Secret Room whenever you want in the month. But bear in mind, this sucks. So yeah, just wanted to let you know that. So what am I going to go with then? I'm going to pick Venus up for my HP burn. I'm going to pick up my Michaud that I've just shown you that I've built. And then I cover like all the bases that I need. I mean, Lysandra is going to be epic in terms of turn meter control. She's the best of the best. Sylar is also wicked at turn meter control, so she can come in as well. She also brings decreased accuracy, which makes all of the boss's abilities harder to land. So I think this, and then, you know what? It sucks, really. I don't know why I keep saying sucks. It's bad, really, but, you know, who else is good here? Same old, Mrs. Coldheart. Brilliant here. So Coldheart, Armiger, all of those fellas, normal sort of crew are going to be good. So it really is very similar to a normal Spider 20 team. We can just whiz our way through the waves. The waves are weak, level 120 odd, so that's going to be no problem for us here. And yeah, for me, it looks like this is just going to be the easiest boss. So here we go, onto the boss. Void Affinity, decreased turn meter, decreased speed on the boss. We're going to get our decrease accuracy out as well. We've got decreased defense and weaken. We've got AoE leech. She's in trouble. She's in pain. I've got no HP burn on yet, but we're going to get that on soon through Venus. And there it is. And at this point, Sorath is wondering why she was invented. She is in trouble. She's suffering. The spiderlings on the side are stunned because I've got stun gear on Sylar. They haven't had a turn yet anyway. When they do, because they're stunned, they won't do anything. So you can see here, it's just all turn meter control. I will show you after this a very, very cool and cheap team that beats it on hard. An unbelievable team. You won't believe your eyes. But yeah, you can see it. It's so easy, guys. Turn meter control, damage. I probably don't even need... I probably could just run literally like a couple of Cold Hearts and do it much faster, to be honest. I don't even need all of this control that I've got because it's easy. So yeah, easily the worst boss that we've seen so far on Doom Tower in terms of like scary mechanics. I think Agref is going to be the hardest boss by quite some way. The others seem pretty doable. See all those resistances? I've not built anyone in resistance gear. Like I was saying earlier, something's wrong with the boss. There you go. Get yourself a Void Shard. Move on with your day. Interested to see what sort of times people were kicking out on this. 21 seconds. Yeah, look, double Cold Heart. Reset. Yeah, I understand it. Just like a basic nuke, reset, nuke type of strat, which makes complete sense. So without even trying, I mean, we're talking 40 seconds here. Without even trying, you know, we've done it easily. So I'm going to show you that funky team now so you can see that in action as well. So guys, I guess just to ram it home that I feel like this is one of the easiest bosses out there right now. Needless Mage dropped me a line on Discord and he was just like, look at this team I'm running against max level Doom Tower on hard. Yeah, I say max level, against level 30 on Doom Tower on hard. And he basically sent me a screenshot of this team. So we've got an Armiger for drop turn meter. We've got increased speed on our Apothecary. Marked is kind of in there for block debuffs, but kind of isn't really having to do a lot. We've got Satyr, who has got decreased speed A1. Also got a turn meter drop on his A2. This is actually a great champion, guys. This Skinwalker here, probably one of the best Skinwalkers, albeit terrible base stats. But 4-hitter decreases turn meter by 15% if he crits on a 3-turn cooldown. It's actually kind of nice. He's also running this Commander, who's got a heal the ally with lowest HP by 40% of this champion's HP. Completely fills the target's turn meter if the ally is fully healed. This is kind of bonkers as well. This ability is really cool. This champion's turn meter cannot be filled by this skill. This champion's, yeah. So can't fill our own turn meter. But watch this. So we've got 2 level 50s, 3 level 60s, and we're going to go full auto against this spider. Now, one of the things you might have noticed there is we've got no HP burn. We've got no leech. So we're not kind of worrying ourselves about really what should be the mechanics of this boss. This Armiger is well geared though. He's in Relentless gear. I'll show you his gear after. He's in Relentless gear and he is going to do a ton of work for us. But other than him, there's really not a lot going on with this team. So you see there, that turn meter field to make sure he gets his turn straight away. I really like that. I really like that ability from Commander there. But what you will see when we get to the boss is you don't even need HP burn to kill the boss, and you don't need to definitely have block revive do the kill, because that block revive ability, or the revive ability that she does, is actually on quite a long cooldown. So because of that cooldown, you can just kill the boss twice. Just kill the boss twice. I'm going to skip on to the actual boss fight. We can see what they do on waves. It's kind of basic stuff. Okay, then onto the boss. We're still on full auto here. Armada focuses on the main boss and keeps the turn meter going. We get a bit of decreased turn meter there. We've actually landed decreased accuracy on the 2 spiderlings. Doesn't really do a lot for us. And we're getting our block debuffs and increased defense up. So the increased defense is going to help us hit harder with Armada. Yeah. And we're getting turn meter drop. The commander then fills his turn meter again, so he's getting his kind of abilities back quicker, which I love. I actually love that ability from commander. I wish there was more like epic and legendary versions of that same skill, because it's actually a very cool skill. And you can see we're just getting out the main kind of attacks. Turn meter drops from everyone that can do it. Apothecary keeps people healed up as well. But this boss really is weak. It's very weak. You know, drop turn meter there. Just putting out small hits. And we're talking hard here. We're not talking about, you know, normal or you know, the easier levels here. We're talking taking the boss on the true level in the game. So I'm guessing as we get a bit further on, yeah, it's going to be tougher. But I feel like they've not made these spiderlings relevant. The 2 spiderlings on the side, they don't attack. So there's no big damage coming from them. The main boss, I mean, she's hitting for a reasonable amount, but nothing too crazy. So it's literally just a sweat it out fight where you're running your guys through. You know, this is not a quick fight, obviously, but look how easy we're finding it. Look how easy we're doing it. And this is really with, you know, 2 level 50s, 3 60s, all low bob champions. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. And Armada does have a block revive ability, but you don't even need it because you can just kill this spider twice with any team. So I feel like this is easily the weakest. I'm going to spam it through a bit until we get a bit more towards the end because it's going to take a while, but you can just see how easy this fight is. So we're coming back in. We're like 11 minutes in. So this is not quick, by the way, guys, but you can see how easy it is. One of the other things which I've been talking to a couple of the big brains in the community about is that it looks like the accuracy and the resistance for the bosses is not turned on. So you see how many times we are getting resists, and I'll show you their gear in a minute. We're getting a ton of resistances where we shouldn't be. So it feels like, at least for these early levels, they have not turned on the accuracy check or the resistance check, which means a couple of things. Firstly, we're resisting a lot of stuff which we probably shouldn't be, which is why we're finding it so much easier than we should do for these bosses. We haven't been frozen. Like, we haven't had like a full team freeze once. We had the odd person get frozen, the odd debuffs land, but look at all these resistances just popping. So that's not working right. I don't know if they're going to try and fix it. They could. If any other game that I play, there'll be like a hot fix, a patch. But Raid doesn't seem to work in that way, so I'm not sure if that's going to come. The other thing is because the resistance check is not working for the boss, you could actually come in here with super low accuracy right now and still be landing your skills. So yeah, there's 2 things there. With the abilities not working properly, you can kind of just almost like change the way you build champions. Lower accuracy and less resistance than you think you would need, and you still get the job done. So we actually hit a block revive here. It killed the spider. If we didn't hit the block revive there, we still would have won because the spider would have revived and then we would have just killed it for a second time. And the cooldown is long for the spider to get that block revive a second time. But you see this, all the damage is coming from Armada and Apothecary. I'll show you these builds quick. So I'll show you the 250s first. So we've got Commander, basically in reasonable gear, 218 speed, nothing else really of note. Very low defense, 44k HP. Nothing of note here at all. Level 50. And a couple of masteries, but nothing really major. You've got Satire, who is kind of similar. Does have the high crit. He needs the crit for his ability. But otherwise, very low defense. Look at that. Shockingly low defense. Average speed. Average everything else. And a couple of masteries, but nothing much. You've got the Apothecary, who is like fully built. It's actually in stalwart gear. Pretty decent speed. Nothing else of note, really. Okay defense. Reasonable build. Nothing crazy. We do have a Relentless Set Armiger, who is in a good build. But still not crazy. Like 213, that's okay. That's okay. Accuracy is okay. Defense is okay. Nothing crazy. That is not a crazy build by any stretch. And then marked also in stalwart gear, like level 12 gears. You know, we're talking achievable builds here, guys. Achievable builds. So, I guess, Needless Mage, thanks for showing us that. Thanks for letting us borrow your account. This boss is weak sauce compared to the rest. And so far, my view is that the boss that's going to cause everyone the problems is Agref, the one that does, the spider that does all of those poisons. But yeah, interesting to look at this boss. It feels like this boss needs a bit of a kick up the backside and a fix, because right now, easy, weak sauce. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.